Today we're kicking it off with Miss Aleta Williams of Loquacious Catering. Then Marvin Harris.
Hello,
everybody. You hopping right on in there. I know you ready to get going. Let me just tell them about Marvin that's coming on after you. Then Marvin is going to talk about effective communication. And we know that all communication is definitely not effective. So don't miss his show, Love, Sex, and the Ships They Ride In On. And let's stop some of these ships from sinking. If you have questions on either segment, feel free to Zoom in using the link, which can be found on my Facebook page, Xavier Fox, or join the Facebook group, Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox, and get all the information. Go to xavierfox.com/radio-show for the schedule of next week's replays during the Thanksgiving holiday to see when your favorite personality or topic is scheduled. Now, let's get to it. Hey there, Aleta.
Hey, what's up?
Everything. How you been?
Getting ready for this holiday. Ready to
I know.
fry some turkey.
I'm sure you frying some turkeys. Is that what you said?
I am.
Oh, yeah. I love fried turkey. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, brothers and sisters, tell us a little bit about you first.
I am born and raised in Chicago. I say I'm an only child because my sister didn't come along until I was 15. So our joke is she's the one that got the sibling and I got babysitting duties. But
yeah, that's about you too.
Right. And I've been happily married for 5 years and just, living the dream.
Okay. And so we're still going to find out a little bit about you before we let you talk about your business. So what was your first job?
My first job was, I know what it was. I used to sort my mom's Avon orders. My mom was an Avon representative back in the day. And so my family didn't believe in allowance. So my job was to sort her orders when they came in. I had to check them in off the order sheet and then put them in all their individual bags with their receipts and stuff on them for her to deliver them.
Okay, so she started you out being an entrepreneur early, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, this is how this works. I had to add up their receipts.
Wow.
And make sure the prices were right and everything.
Okay. So did you play or participate in any activities during high school?
I ran track and I played basketball.
Oh, you played basketball too? I did too. I did both of those as well. And how old were you when you got your first place?
I was 18.
Okay. We have very similar backgrounds. So when did you start your business and what made you want to be a caterer?
I started my business 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
13 years ago. Yeah, it's been a while. And I started my business because once I decided that culinary was the route I wanted to go, I didn't want to work in a restaurant because I didn't want to have to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. So I was like, catering, you get to do different menus and you can have different events and be a different, do different places and everything else. So you had the opportunity for it to be something different almost every day.
Okay, that's cool. That was my next question, is what made you want to be a caterer? But I guess you just shared that with us. So I do have a question because, I post a new word every day. And one day the word was actually loquacious. And so how did you choose that name for your catering business? Because, it means to talk a lot or something like that.
It does. It means talkative. So the long story short was that it was my line name when I was a Sigma sweetheart. I'll leave it at that. So that's the sum it up version.
You talked a lot, huh?
I
You
talked a lot about the wrong things.
oh, all right. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that then. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is your best-selling dish? What sells the most?
My buffalo chicken mac and cheese.
Oh, that sounds good.
My smoked Gouda shrimp and grits,
Mm.
and the barbecue braised beef brisket.
Oh, you got me hungry, and I just ate some fish and grits. That sounds so good. How many vegan options do you have?
I have tons of vegan options, and I actually enjoy doing vegan food and dietary restriction food because I feel it makes me use my imagination and to not just do like the norm, to actually try to make something that's easy, that's fun and good. Because I don't feel like just because, I mean, don't get me wrong, as a meat eater and everything else, sometimes I feel like some people just take it a little far. Sometimes I'm just like, really, we gotta do all that. But for those people that's a lifestyle choice that you've taken, and you're just trying to get the best quality food that you can, and that you're a reasonable person, it it helps me do my imagination. It's like, what can we do to make this work? How can we make this happen for them so that they have a great experience while everybody else is having a great experience? So, like for this Thanksgiving, we did a photo shoot, which my husband has been screaming at me for years to do. So we made a whole Thanksgiving spread, and we did a tasting after the photo shoot. And I made a vegan gluten-free mac and cheese, but I didn't tell anybody that it was vegan and gluten-free except for my friend who's dairy intolerant and gluten-free. And everybody was like, oh my God, this mac and cheese is so amazing. And I was like, yeah, it's vegan. They were like, what? And that's how food should be. It should just be good.
True.
It shouldn't be, oh, this is good for a vegan dish. It should just be good.
I agree.
So that's what I try to do.
That's exactly right. So what would you like to tell us about your catering business, your business, that I have not already asked you? What should we know that I haven't already asked you?
That we are here to make your event and your experience yours. So it's always hard when people say, can you just send me menus? I can send you what I've done in the past, but I really like to sit down with my clients and say, what's your budget? It's important to have a budget, people. You all have a budget. You know what it is. Don't tell me you don't have a budget. Everybody got a budget. Let's start there. But, to sit down, discuss your budget, discuss what you're doing, discussing, what you're trying to get out of this event, what your theme is, what your favorite foods are, what your dislikes are, who's coming to the event that may have dietary restrictions or anything like that. And then I can sit back and put together a menu that meets your needs so that you can get the most bang for your buck. You're going to have the best event possible, and everybody is going to have a great time.
Okay.
And that's what we're here.
Okay, that sounds great. I am going to be doing an event, but I work backward because I'm going to be seeking sponsorship. So I want to get what I want. So I need the numbers up front so I can include that in the proposal.
Yeah, I've worked with you. I know how that works.
It's still gonna happen too. Anyway, while we're getting off the subject here, what has been your proudest moment in your business?
My proudest moment, they've been like three.
Okay.
One was when I bidded for an event against an old catering company that I used to work for, and I won the bid.
Oh, congratulations on that.
I was like, haha. And it wasn't even that I was cheaper, because sometimes, you just win the bid because you're cheaper. But they just really liked the thoughtfulness that I put into it. And they told me that. They're like, you weren't cheaper, but, we just like how we approached it. My second thing is really being able to make a living at what I do. That has really made me happy. You know, I'm not rolling in the buck, but I'm able to survive, and that's an amazing thing. And then the third thing was watching how many people during the pandemic and during this last 2 years really rallied behind me and my business and really focused on helping us stay in business while helping other people. Okay. And that has been an amazing point. And we're, you know, looking at ways that we can expand that to grow.
So what has been your proudest moment in life in general?
Hard to say. I mean, one of them, marrying my husband, he's like the most amazing man on earth. He believes in me more than I believe in myself, and he's always there to make it happen and to be supportive, even during my crazy, which my crazy starts in about 6 hours when I start putting everything together for Thanksgiving through next Wednesday. And playing with my grandkids is amazing. Like the first time your grandchild says, "Grandma, come here," or like my grandson was like, "Grandma, don't go." Like, it just like warmed my heart.
I know that feeling.
You know
that feeling. Yeah. So
I don't personally have kids, so you know his stepkids love me like I'm their second mom, and you know it's just great to be a part of a great family like that.
It is. Family is everything, especially during the holidays. All the love and fellowship. That's just a great thing. So what was your toughest moment in your business?
When I did a catering event and it just turned out horribly. And it was like one of my first big events. It was downtown. It was at the Harold Washington Cultural Center. 300 people, and the plates came in and they were the wrong size. And the chef on my food didn't tempt the chicken, and some people got undercooked chicken, and it was. I know. I was like, oh. Of course, the one person that gets this piece of chicken is like on the board of directors, and it was for the Treehouse Foundation, and I just was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna be in business again. And you know, it was in my first year, and it was just, I think I sat in my house for like a week and just cried. I was like, they're gonna blackball me. I'll never have business again. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But you know, you just learn how to, you know, you take responsibility for things that you can be responsible for, and you do your best to make the corrections that you need to do, and you move forward.
Yep, that's what you do. I had an event like that. You know, I was an event planner for 12 years. I had my own business as well back in Milwaukee. And I had an event with 100 Black men of Milwaukee. It was a breakfast award ceremony. And the caterer that I had showed up like 2 hours late. So there was no breakfast for breakfast. I was like, oh my God, I'm not the caterer, you know, so I have nothing. I'm just standing there looking at them as they're looking at me. And I'm like, oh man. Right. But fortunately, they understood my dilemma. The caterer called. She was having some issues or whatever. It still was horrible. Plus, she was a friend of mine. So I had to, at that moment, separate our friendship from business and have a conversation with her about preparation and stuff. Anyway, yeah, those situations do happen, but you just pick your face up, put it back together, and keep on pushing. So I'm glad that you did. What was your toughest moment in life in general?
I think honestly, these last 3 years have been my toughest time in life. My mother unexpectedly died. And then my grandmother died a year and a half later, and they were like my rocks. And so, you know, and then you couple all that in with COVID and a pandemic, and your business, you know, you're watching all your business go out the window, and, you know, trying to take care of your family and take care of yourself, and care about other people, but still having to focus on the business of life and, you know, the business of death, and, you know, probate court and lawyers and funerals and all of those things, and family. You know, these last 3 years has been the hardest of my life, dealing with all those things.
My condolences on your loss. I feel you on that. My dad went last year, so I feel you on that. So this interview is with Aleta Williams of Loquacious Catering, and we're getting to know a little bit about Aleta as well as her business. Now, everybody knows that I discuss relationships, so in every interview, I have to have a relationship segment. And so we already know that you are married. You said you're married to the most wonderful man in the world. And so tell me, what was it about this person that made him the one, besides being wonderful? How did you know that was the one?
It's gonna sound so corny, but it was just one of those things, like I just knew. It really was. When we started dating, I always just described him as a good man. And not that there weren't people in the past that I dated that I could say the same thing about, but he just was such a man of integrity and a man of worth. And we just seemed to mesh well together. You know, we both worked in the events industry, although on different sides of it. So there were things like I didn't have to explain, because it's really hard to tell people that you're scheduled till 9 o'clock, but you're not. But when you get off at 11, they don't understand. You know, if the bride is an hour and a half late, you don't just not serve dinner. You know, you gotta wait. Shows up to serve dinner. So he understood that. So, you know, and then we both just had a level of trust that really just made it easy to want to be with him and get to know him and to open up to him. And, you know, I felt like we were living a married life long before we ever even decided to get married. And so it was,
that made it easy.
Like, right, the marriage was like just a big party for everybody else, the wedding. Because, you know, calling me his wife for a good year before we ever even talked about being married. I don't even think we asked if we were going to start dating each other. I was just in the house one day, and he's like, yeah, I'm sitting here with my girlfriend. And I was like, who is that? I was like, oh, I'm the only one in the room, so it must be me. You know, and everything just happened naturally. And it was like, okay, that's great.
That's when you know it's just real, it's just natural, it just flows. That's always a great thing. Right. So what's the biggest challenge of relationships, and how do you handle it?
The biggest challenge, just that you're two different people, and you have to respect that you're two different people, and that what's okay to you may not be okay to them, and how do you have to respect that and understand that. And just being respectful of each other's feelings, because it's just very easy to take for granted that this person is there and in your life, and that, you know, it's just going to be okay. They'll be all right, you know, but you have to sit back sometimes to just realize that, you know, you may sometimes be a very disrespectful person to people that you love sometimes, and you have to take responsibility for that and make that better. And be honest and open enough to be truthful with each other, but also be responsible for what you do. So.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self a piece of life advice, what would it be?
You study abroad in college.
Hmm.
Be much more fiscally responsible than you were, than I was. And just that it's okay. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to not know what you want to do. And it's okay to be yourself.
Absolutely okay to be yourself. So who are your top 3 comedians and why?
That's
You don't watch
Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
I mean, I don't watch a lot of comedians, so I mean, this is going to be real old school when I think of comedians. So Eddie Murphy, because I mean, him in that leather suit on that stage, like.
Oh my God, yeah, that's old school for real.
That's what I think of is, and my best friend's mom name was Lillian, so I used to always be like Lillian cannot, like it was just like the whole of my life. But Red Fox, because I just feel like he just broke a lot of barriers for us as Black people. And the other one that comes to mind is Bernie Mac, and it's just,
oh yeah,
he was just a great comedian, and him and the kids, that was like hilarious. Him down there, that was a real Black household for real when he was talking.
Mm-hmm. That was good. So what is your favorite vacation spot and why?
Anywhere with a beach that's over 80 degrees. And an open bar.
An open bar. So you going to the resort.
That is all that I need is a beach and or a nice pool, 80 degrees and an open bar. Mm-hmm. Everything else is negotiable.
So what is success?
I am just as good with a filet mignon as I am with a really good Subway sandwich. So
okay.
I'm
You know what? And when you're in food service, you do feel that way sometimes because food just becomes food. It's like, okay, I've eaten pretty much everything. So just, I can eat whatever it is.
Right. You'll come to my house and find a Hot Pocket in a minute. And people be like, Hot Pocket? Yes. I wanted a Hot Pocket. I didn't want an artisanal Hot Pocket. I didn't want to make the dough. Nope. 2 minutes.
That's funny, because they talk about beauticians and they got to have their hair together because they're a beautician. And then you go to the caterer's house and you microwave in a Hot Pocket. It's like, hello?
In a hot minute. Dude. Luckily, my husband loves to cook because I will bring home leftovers and he'll turn it into a whole different meal and just knock it out the park. And I'll be like, wow.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm a leftover queen too. I can take some leftovers and you won't even know that it was what we had last night. And I can make some amazing omelets too that, from leftovers. You have some omelets, it's like, okay. So what is success to you?
Success is having the ability to do what I want.
Yes. I definitely agree with that. So we're getting close to the end of the interview. So tell the listeners how they get in touch with you, your website, all of that good stuff. And you might want to tell them one more time what those top 3 favorite items are, because it made me hungry when you said it. And I would like to go out on that note. So everybody hungry, they looking for you when we get off of here.
They gotta look for me, right? Gotta look for it. So we are Loquacious Culinary Events. We can be found on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter under all the same names. Our website address is www.loquaciousculinary.biz. Feel free to give us a call at 569-9043. Ask us about those amazing smoked Gouda shrimp and grits, our buffalo chicken mac and cheese, and our beef brisket. Our barbecue beef brisket is amazing and people love. And we have some great fried turkeys, Cajun fried turkeys, a smoked turkey, all available for Thanksgiving. And tomorrow at noon is the last day to order. We are taking orders online. Our meals come with a turkey or a ham, homemade cranberry sauce, homemade dressing, 3 sides, and it's delivered straight to your door on Wednesday by 2 p.m.
Oh, girl. Lord have mercy. Okay, so if this do what it's supposed to do, I hope you got a few people driving out there. You're gonna need a couple ovens. We got to get you busy.
Yes, please help us out.
Well, that is exactly what I want to do because I love you. You my girl. So I had to get you on here, and this is the perfect time. I didn't necessarily realize it was right before the holiday, but when you said, "Oh, that's perfect," it's right before the cutoff for Thanksgiving. I'm like, okay, that's perfect then. And then you must have gotten busy because I was sending you stuff, and it was like,
and not answering at all.
Right. I'm just like, is she okay? Well, where's she at? Anyway, I want to thank you for coming. Go ahead.
But also one thing for your listeners, if you all know of anyone at this time that is going through any hardship or anything like that, and you would like to gift them a Thanksgiving dinner, please feel free to reach out to us. We do that, and we just feel that everyone should be able to enjoy a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, you are so sweet. You are such a sweetheart. You are a wonderful person as well. And that's why you attracted a wonderful person in the form of your husband. That's a great thing. Okay, well, I want to thank you for coming on here and giving me this interview. It has been great interviewing you. I learned some things about you because I didn't know that you had a sister that was 15 years younger than you.
Man.
Or your babysitting job.
Right.
Okay, well, I will talk to you again soon. And if I don't talk to you before Thanksgiving, you have a happy Thanksgiving. And again, thanks for coming on the show. All right.
All right. Have a great show. Bye.
Thank you.
Was the best bud, burning wonder when gangsters brought my shit. Can they hear my hunger? When the fifth kick up quick, it sound like thunder. In December, I make it block.